Greetings and best wishes to my young friends. We will resume our talks on how to acquire a suitable SSB personality. Before that, friends, I'd like to make an important announcement, and that is my next online guidance course is going to commence from 18th of September. And some of you have expressed the desire to join the course. The numbers are given here on the screen. You may contact me, drop a message, or give me a call from 10 o'clock in the morning till about 6 in the evening. I hope you have noted down the numbers, and let us proceed. Friends, you must have heard something like the social factor from some of the mentors or maybe your friends. Social factor is quite a talked about factor. Friends, remember that as an officer, your default position will be to lead your troops. Whatever function you are performing, maybe in the battlefield or when you are managing your units, you are a leader to your troops. It has been established number of times and it has been communicated to you and you have understood it so very well. Its larger concept is that you have to manage the human resources. And this is where the factor of social nature, the social factor that takes this center stage. What are the qualities that make you an effective leader, a good person, as an accepted human being in your organization? All these things, they require a thorough understanding about some of the things which generally we ignore. Before you actually come on to the factor of social adjustment, one must understand why this is so, why this whole exercise is. Without understanding, if you are trying to align yourself with any particular quality or any particular function, it will be infructuous. Armed forces are like any other organization. Some of you who have studied organizational behavior in your mechanical engineering or as a part of any other branch of engineering, or if you have studied MBA, the management, you essentially study OB or the organizational behavior. By definition, when two or more people join hands to meet some objective, the organization comes into existence. Organization basically has got the human resources besides machines, equipment, buildings, other infrastructure. The greatest asset of any organization is the human resources or the team. The second thing which we must pay attention to is about a fact or maybe a principle of the management sciences. It says you have to plan your work and you have to work your plan. Accordingly, any organization has got multiple specialists. Some people specialize in, planning the work. They plan the basic structure of the work and also the plan the availability of the resources and how the organization is going to achieve the plans. Accordingly, you require some people, a workforce. They will be translating this plan into action. They will be working your plan. The same thing happens in the armed forces also. Those who plan the work, they are called as the officers, and those who work the plan, they are the men. Planning the work and working the plan, both are very, very important functions. No functions can be said to be having a lesser importance. However, we must understand that it needs a complete coordination between the planners and the workers. While in the other organizations, you have a middle level of management. Here, in the armed forces, the middle level management is there, all right, but most of the times you find that the officers have got a greater say and greater involvement even when the middle level of management may do that. We have got the concept of JCOs. All right, the battlefield, every single bit is to be noticed by the officer, and JCOs also, by and large, they function under the command of the officers, though they have got some kind of liberty or some privileges, but mostly their functions are also well under the command of the officers only. Before you become an effective leader, or you think of becoming an effective leader, especially in the armed forces, there are certain facts that you must understand. One thing is that an effective leader understands the structure of his force well. Understand your men well, their needs, their limitations well. Only then you will be in a position to command them well, and they will be in a position to show their performance according to your desires. Please remember that the sole objective of the armed forces is to defend the country, and fighting is their primary function. Armed forces, they decide sometimes the fate of the nation. If they fail, and God forbid it shouldn't happen, the fate of any country is doomed. So we must understand the importance of the functions of the armed forces, particularly how the armed forces fight the battle. Remember one thing, friends, that the victory in the battle is ensured not by the virtue of a good planning or a strategy or weaponry alone. These factors are important. But the most dominant factor to ensure victory is the morale of the troops. Morale is what? In Hindi, we can call it morale is the हौसला. अगर हौसला ऊंचा है, it doesn't matter however formidable is the enemy in front of you, you will always give him a bloody nose and you will have the victory for the sake of the glory of the country. ध्यान रखिए, weapons और strategy अपनी तरफ है, but morale is very, very important, and morale is the direct outcome of the quality of the leadership. Selection boards, therefore, are having a lot of concern about those qualities that make you an effective leader. Another thing I would like to highlight here is that though the selection boards, they have got the similar parameters for the Army, Navy, and Air Force. But their factor of social, adjustment and the leadership has got its roots, or it is having a direct connection with the concepts and beliefs that the Army practices. You may be going for some place in the Air Force as a pilot, maybe, or as a ground duty officer, or you may be going for Navy. But the selection parameters are almost the same. And these parameters are quite linked to the profile of a fighter, and basically the concepts, they are quite, the battle concept is quite connected with the concept and belief of the Army. An effective leader, it's a repetition, knows his troops very well. And here in particularly, in the context of Army, I would like to bring out certain facts which every candidate must be aware of, particularly about the Army, particularly about the structure of the human beings or the human force in the regiments. Remember one thing, that the Indian regiments have been drawn from the caste and region base. So we have got Kumayu, we have got Garhwal regiments I'm talking about. We have got Bihar regiment, we have got Assam, we have got Maratha light infantry, we have got J&K rifles, etc., etc. And we have got Sikh, we have got Rajputs, we have got Dogras, like this. We have got Mahar. The caste and the regional things, regional considerations, I mean, they make the troops homogeneous. And this is with the sole objective of making the troops homogeneous so that they can merge together and they can synergize their energy during the war. However, remember that the officers, they are above these considerations. Officers are educated enough. You may be having any ethnic or regional identity, but the Army will be giving you maybe a very, very different unit to command. You may be a Sikh gentleman, you may be asked to command, let us say, Maratha light infantry. Or you may be somebody, some gentleman from down south. You might be allotted, let us say, some Gorkha unit to command. So here, if you see the things mentioned here, men are homogeneous in composition and the officers are assorted. Assorted simply means that the factor of homogeneity is definitely not applicable to the cadre of officers. Friends, you also must remember that once the troops are formed and the unit is formed, they stay together, they move together, they are deployed together. You must understand. Once you join any particular unit, your association with that regiment, that remains for lifelong. Talk to officers. Very proudly, they will associate themselves with the unit with which they have served. Right? With my own experience, I can say that the officers, irrespective their own personal belief and identity and ethnic association, they very proudly merge their identity with their troops or with their regiment. Very proudly, they may say that I'm a Gorkha, I'm a Bihari, I'm a Dogra, I'm a Kumayuni. Their personal identity doesn't matter. So you must understand what makes a person merge his identity with the troops. Also, you must remember that every regiment has got its own culture, regimental salutation, regimental song, regimental culture, the traditions of the regiment. And as an officer, you have to absorb and practice those customs, salutations, all the things that make a regiment unique. I wish that you joined the armed forces and you got an opportunity of witnessing the Raising Day celebrations of any particular unit, and then you will see how proudly the men display their culture. They sing their regimental songs. The point which is mentioned here, the last point, parental claim or bapauti. Many of the people really, they do not understand what exactly it is. And once it is explained to them, they are totally surprised. In the fighting arms, friends, there's a tradition that if your father has commanded a particular unit, in your last term at the IMA, you can ask for that particular unit which your father has commanded. This is what is called as the parental claim. These are a few traditions, friends, to keep you totally mingled with your troops, with a pride, so that you can command them well. Now the question comes, how to acquire that personality, how to present yourself before the service selection boards so that you can stake your claim that you are a person who could command the people and who could manage the human resources well. Friends, remember, the armed forces are going to consider your worth on two counts. The first thing is, what is your adjustment and interaction skills, social skills, I would say. How do you interact, how you initiate, how you maintain? And second thing is, what is the role that you perceive for yourself when you are in a group? It's a fact that some of the people, they feel more associated with the role of leadership. They identify themselves as a leader. They think that they can lead the groups. Yes, there are quite a number of people that they feel that they are just to follow. Kya farak padta hai? Let somebody else decide. Let somebody else make some planning. Their contribution to the group activities is almost nothing. So these two are very, very distinct areas which I'm going to touch upon in my next videos. What makes you, or what are the qualities that make you well adjusted in the group? What are the social skills? What are the functions that you feel you must discharge socially while you are in a group? Remember, you are a source of happiness. You are a source of comfort. You are caring. You are sharing many of the things on the social counts. As far as the leadership function is concerned, there are three parts which will be discussed in detail. And those three parts are the will of a leader, the skill of a leader, the attitudes, and the psychological composition of a leader. We will discuss about these two things, that is the social adjustment and interaction patterns and the leadership, in separate videos. For the time being, I'm closing this talk, and once again, I'm repeating that, well, my next course is starting on 18th of September. The numbers are mentioned here. Kindly intimate me in advance if you are willing to participate in the course. Thank you very much. God bless you. Best of luck.